welcome to this new special episode of Continuum Gaming. And this time around I want to show you 3 different games again, this time in English of course, as you may already have noticed. And the games will be Classic Woodblock Puzzle, Funland and Jurassic Dino World, the Kingdom of Far, or if you want it shorter, Dino Hunting 2018. My name is Gerald, and as always I have a couple of different input devices around here. So for example the Art mouse, which is going to be used for mouse input of course. And there is the Foldable keyboard too, which is more or less for keyboard input in this case. And if there would be a game that could be played in this episode with the Xbox One as wireless controller, I could use that one too, but there is no game which is supporting that at the moment in this episode. So this one will only be watching from the side. Yeah, and of course, all of this is not possible without my very nice Lumia 950 XL I have here, which is my smartphone with a Mozo cover at the back, which is a silverwood cover. And this is of course a Lumia 950 XL and a Continuum enabled smartphone like that. It has an USB-C connector at the bottom, and this USB-C connector can be connected to this display dock, for example, which is at the side here. And this one is connected again with the TV, and like that I can more or less use this desktop-like experience I have here on powered by the smartphone with all my different input devices I showed you before to play, for example, games or do some other stuff like using Word and doing some productive stuff. Yeah, but we are of course here to play games at the moment, and so we can start with the first game now, which is Classic Woodblock Puzzle. Oh, and just to mention it, if you want to know more about all of these, please have a look at the corner there. You may find a video which is more interesting than this one for that kind of purpose here. Okay, so let's start with the first game, which is, as I mentioned before, Classic Woodblock Puzzle. For that I'm going to go to my All Apps list at this point, click on All Apps here, and now I'm going to click on this and say Classic. And of course I'm mistyping that, but there we are, Classic Woodblock Puzzle. I'm going to click on that. And Classic Woodblock Puzzle is more or less a very classic game, but there are a couple of different modes in this, and I want to show you one of the modes which is more or less quite interesting if you ask me, and we are going to play that one. That is the bomb mode, and the bomb mode in this Classic Woodblock Puzzle is more or less like Tetris with a timer, or whatever you want to call it. But it's not really Tetris, because in general in Tetris the parts are falling from the top, of course. In this case you're not going to have this kind of game scenario, but you are trying to use different parts which are presented to you in a certain way, and there are going to be bombs all around, after a while at least. And these bombs need to be diffused in some kind of a way by just creating a line. You have to overcome them with them, and by creating this line they will be diffused. And the problem about that is that you only have a couple of steps to do that. And so let's have a look at what we can do here. Yeah, first off, here are a couple of things you can set up. For example, you can rate this, you can just mute it, or you can just get rid of the music. If you listen very closely, there is some kind of a nature sounding here, but in general, if I click on this, you can see there are of course some kind of sounds available here. And as you can see, you can now just select one of the modes, for example the classic mode, time mode, bomb mode, or advanced mode. I'm going to play the bomb mode, and you can of course try out the other ones for yourself if you want to. And by clicking on that, I'm going to be here. And as you can see, we just have some kind of a playing board here. And at the bottom here you have 3 different options which you want to place on this part. There is no limit where you place it, so you can, for example, start at the top, for example. It's not going to fall down or something. It's just staying where it is, and like that, of course, in different, for example, to Tetris, you can in any kind of way and at any time try to, for example, fill holes or something with one of the parts here, at least if it's of course fitting. So you can of course not place some parts of the same part or whatever on the board, so this is not possible, of course, but you can of course do something like this. Okay, so let's have a look what we can do here, and as you can see, there's our first bomb. It's coming after a while, and as you can see, we now have to get this line, or I think this line is fine too, to be filled so that the bomb can be diffused. And you can see this little number on the bomb, and this little number is more or less the timer you have. So you have 9 rounds or 9 parts you can place anywhere you want till this bomb needs to be diffused. So let's do that and diffuse that if I can at all. And of course you have to be a little bit technical about it, so take only parts that really help you and don't try to put, for example, one piece parts or something at this point. It's not going to work like that. This is a better way then. Okay, yeah, and now just play it. You can see at the top there is more or less a counter how many pieces you have put there, or better to say, it's points, of course, you're going to receive for putting more and more parts in here. And now just try to get all of that done. Yeah, and the game is more or less ended if you, for example, have all the parts put on the checkboard here and you can't place any parts anymore because, for example, the size of the parts is not fitting to the holes that are still available or something like that. And yeah, or for example, you can lose if you get, for example, this bomb not diffused. So let's make sure we are able to do that. At the start, it's really not very hard to do that, but as you can see, for example, I can't put this one here, for example, because it's going not to be fitting there. So let's try and get more of that done here. Yeah, we can diffuse that too. And like that, this is played, and there is no need to hurry or something. You just can take all the time you want. If you're not in time mode, there are different modes, as I mentioned before. Time mode, for example, wouldn't allow you that. But in general, in this mode, for example, you can play as long as you want, more or less. It's more or less going to be a hassle sooner or later because, for example, like I did now, this was not a good decision, so I need 2 one pieces now, and that's hard to get. So I'm probably going to lose this now, and there are going to be more than 1 bomb, of course, so you really have to figure out how to work with that. And as you can see, I'm probably going to die now, because in 2 parts I can't put it there. It's over. Okay, yeah, we can diffuse 1 more, but this is it. Now we lost it and we are out of move. And we now have just a couple of different points here. As you can see, my best was 2,440 in this case. I got 1,720 in this case now. And like this is played. The game is a little bit, there's a little bit of advertisement in here, but it's really not hard to ignore, for example. It's just this little part at this point, for example, and you really don't have to worry much about it. Yeah. And that is more or less classic woodblock puzzle. If you like this kind of puzzle stuff, this might be a good idea to be played by you, so try it out. Yeah, and so let's go to the next game. The next game is Funland, and Funland is a jump and run. It's really a pity that it can't be played with a gamepad. I think it would be a good candidate for that, as more or less all of the jump and runs are good candidates to do that, if you ask me. But whatever, let's have a look at that game. I like it because it's quite, it's quite sweet somehow. It's nicely done. As you can see, it's fun to play. It's very likely playable by a kid too. And for example, it's really a nice part of more or less Super Mario Bros. Or whatever. Okay. So let's start this. I'm going to get rid of this bar at this point, so I get a little bit more screen space here. And now we can just go on and hit play. And as you can see, we have different levels here with star ratings, for example. I'm going to turn down the music a little bit, so I don't have to shout against it. And as you can see, there is a star rating for each of these levels. There are different levels available, and there are a lot of them, as you can see at this point. And for example, if we are just going to play the first one again, I'm just clicking on that. There's a little bit of an introduction how to play this. At the start, you are not going to see it at the moment because I already played it, of course. But more or less, what is going to happen here is you are going to use your keyboard in this case, and you are going to use A and D to move around, and you are going to use J and K to jump and shoot. And this is more or less all you have to do. So you need more or less 2 hands for that, to play this in a reasonable way. It's a little bit slidey, so be aware of that if you are playing this. You have to get accustomed to that a little bit. And of course, as always in these games, you can, for example, collect these little coins. You can hit those parts from behind, and there are going to be different power-ups, of course, available, like this one. This is more or less how often you can hit an enemy, by accident or not, whatever. And those parts are for how often you can shoot. So you are just collecting those, and after that you can use K, for example, to shoot. It's going to be 1 shot only for each of these, so be aware of that. And down below, I just shot by accident, whatever. Down below you can see one of the enemies you're going to face here. It's more or less this little droplet, whatever it's called, and you can just jump on that. There are different enemies available. For example, there are bees, there are crabs and stuff like that. And some of them are harder to overcome than others, and for some you might want to use, for example, the shooting part there. There's a crab, for example. In difference to other games like that, you can, for example, not kill the guy if you are hitting the part right below him. So be aware of that. He will fall down then. Sooner or later, yeah. Like this. And as I mentioned before, it's going to slide a little. And now we can, for example, shoot him, and now he has been killed. And so we can go on, try to get more and more of these coins, do parts like that. And be aware there is some kind of a timer going on. So you can see there is a second timer. At the moment it's really not hard to overcome that one. We are going to do it very, very easily. This is a checkpoint more or less. So if you're going to go over that one, you can jump around again. Now let's shoot that guy. Get all of these stars. I think stars means that you can just run around and you're not going to be hit, but you can just overrun your enemies at this moment for a couple of seconds. I'm not sure how long it takes till it's not or no longer available. And now just jump over those obstacles here, try to go around and play it like any other jump and run, more or less. It's, as I said before, it's really sweetly done or nicely done. There are different enemies available. Like this guy, for example, it's more or less like the plants in Super Mario Bros. Or something. And yeah, you don't have to kill everything, you can just go on if you want to. I could try to shoot that now, but why should I? Here's another enemy. This one can take 2 hits if you jump on it, as you can see. First one and second one, so to kill him. And of course, after a while you are going to go to this kind of portal, and if you go to that and just hit it, you are going to be at the next level more or less. Yeah, now you can, for example, go on to the next game, replay it, or go to the level overview and stuff like that. And like that, this game is played. You already know all of these kind of games, but it's a nice iteration, so if you want to play another one, here is one you can play it. Or just give it to your kids, for example, if you have kids. It's going to be nice. Okay. So, and the next game we are trying to out now is more or less something you shouldn't or may not want to give it to your child or children. In this case, it's Jurassic Dino World, The Kingdom of Far, or Dino Hunting 18, and this is more or less an ego shooter, where you are going to try to get more or less out of a really disastrous part. It's more or less a story of Jurassic Park or something. If I'm going to start that now, let's see. I'm going to go to my all apps list here. I'm going to click on that, and I'm just putting in Jurassic, hopefully, There it is. Jurassic Dino World, the Kingdom of Falle, whatever. Of the Fallen or something, I'm not sure. Whatever, this game is an ego shooter. You're going to play it with your mouse and your keyboard, for example. And yeah, it's more or less what you would expect it to be. So use WASD to navigate around, R for reloading, and the mouse for aiming and stuff like that. Okay, and what you can see here is, for example, you're going to fight against all of these guys. So, for example, against the T-Rex, against some kind of a raptor, and I'm not sure how those are called, but the small little ones are quite hard to kill, if you ask me, because it's hard to aim at them. I'm going to turn around now, so I can at least play it a little bit more well. And yeah, quite a nice game, if you ask me. We can just use all of these controls I showed you before to navigate around, and you get different weapons, for example, for different tasks. So if I click on that now, you see we have a couple of different levels here to play. And the first one is more or less shoot at more or less dangerous T-Rexes. T-Rexes are very, very slow in this game, so it's not hard to get around them. At the start there is a really, really bad resolution intro, so more or less we are going to fly to some kind of an army base or whatever with our helicopter. And the problem is that one of the dinosaurs there is going to break out, and we have to fight him again. So you can see him, he broke out, and now it's quite hard. And as I said before, it's really a bad resolution here, but in the game itself it's much better than that. And there is our dinosaur, which is going to kill all those people, and you don't want to be one of them again. Yeah, so good luck. Let's try what we can do here. There we are. And in this case we have some kind of a mission objective, of course, so just overcome the guys who are trying to kill you here. So in this case this dinosaur is going to try to kill you. And you have more or less a rifle in this case. As you can see, we have different options. We have, for example, this information where the dinos are at. I find it a little bit hard to aim with this, so be very careful again that, but you can move around with WASD, and as I said before, this guy is really not fast at all, at least in the first game here, and like that we can just run around and kill him. It's really easy. After a couple of missions it's going to be harder than this, and yeah, with R, for example, you can reload, of course, so use that. And now we have to face two of them in this case, and there are of course different... you can, for example, run away. They're going to follow you more or less. After a while, if you are too far away, that's not going to happen, but in general you just have to kill them. And now we can just run around here. And for example, with R you can reload, as I mentioned before. With the right mouse button, for example, you are going to be able to zoom in, for example. And as you can see, we have these little indicators there, where the different dinosaurs are. If those indicators are, I think, in this black mode, they don't see you and they're not going to attack you. And if they are in, for example, this red mode, they probably can see you and are trying to hunt you down. As I mentioned before, it's a little bit hard to aim, if you ask me, and I don't think there's an option to make it in any kind of better way, which is a little bit unfortunate. as you can see, there are different options to hit those enemies. So if you, for example, do a body shot, that's a lot less lethal than, for example, killing that guy, oh come on, in the head. And we just got this second level too. Yeah, and in the next level, I think this is the last one we're going to play. I'm just trying to show you how this game is played. In the last level we are going to play at this point, we are going to go against raptors. Raptors are smaller and you get another weapon. So I just want to show you that. Because with this kind of sniper rifle, it's not going to you are not going to be able to kill them. And this is of course another way of playing, because you now have just these kind of rifles here. And as you can see, your rifle has more or less a, I don't know what that is called actually, Rückstoß, not sure what that is called. So if the weapon, for example, if you're firing, is going up, and you just have to overcome that. As you can see, this is a little bit faster now, and you really have to be very careful about that. The second they are, for example, coming in your way and they are near you, you are going to die. So don't try to go into some kind of a situation where you are more or less extremely close to them. They are going to kill you. Nothing will stop them there. But as you can see, we can just run around, use our weapon, try to kill them, and like that go on. And yeah, why not? Let's have a look at the last level. As you can see, I like it somehow. It's hard to play, I don't like that much. But in the end, shoot 3 T-Rexes now. So 3 T-Rexes are going to attack us. And we have another rifle here. And I'm not sure if I want to go with that rifle against one of those. But whatever, let's try it. Oh, okay, yeah, I want. It's really a very, very powerful weapon as it seems here. Okay, let's wait a little bit until he is coming against us. Yeah, cool weapon. Okay, so this is not really hard to overcome too. But after a while, the levels are going to be harder than this. And you will have to be a little bit more cautious about the enemy fighting you. Yeah. And this is more or less what I wanted to show you in this episode. So thanks for watching, thank you for listening. I hope one of the games is something you want to play and try out. And yeah, for example, this dinosaur hunting here is quite nice, and you should have a look at that. So thank you for watching, thank you for listening. Please don't forget to leave a thumbs up if you like this video. And of course, if you are not subscribed till now, you may want to do that now. There's a button right below you. Click on it and you will never, for example, lose another video or miss another video I'm going to upload. And yeah, so thank you for watching, thank you for listening. If you have any kind of questions, please don't hesitate to give me a comment there. I'm trying to answer everything, more or less, at least as not a lot of them, of course. And yeah, so thank you for watching, thank you for listening, have a nice day and see you soon.